hero. But there's something that needs
hold on a second. When I bring this guy on, are you going to scare him away by saying something creepy, like you rub his baits on yourself or something? Like, what are you going to say to him?
Well, I mean, if the baits would do half as good of a job attracting my wife as they do the fish, I'd rub them all over myself.
What episode's this? Hello and welcome to episode 40, NJ Multi-Species Podcast. See, it just doesn't work. I'm trying to do it a new way. It doesn't work. Next episode,
reset. Do it the right way. Go.
Do you really want? No, we'll keep it that way.
Do it the right way. Go.
I can't now. I'm not in the mood for it. Episode 40. Yeah, that's it. Right into it. We were gonna go steelhead. First of all, I'm wearing a Mike K guide shirt, Mikey K's guide server shirt. I agreed to wear this shirt for 4 fresh chicken eggs. So Mike, the shirt's on.
You gotta stand up or sit on a booster seat or something. We can't see it.
You could see it, Mike.
There you go.
Mikey K's guide service. All right, done deal. Nice. I want my eggs.
Nice looking shirt.
4 fresh eggs I'm getting for this. We were supposed to go steelhead fishing. That got canceled because of a blizzard. We came up with the horrible idea to trout fish half the day and hunt the second half. We did, I don't know, trout fishing. What would you call that? Mediocre?
I mean, I guess it all depends. Well, we kind of started our experiment too. So we weren't just fishing, trying to catch as many fish as possible. We were kind of going back and forth. Joe was fly fishing. I was spin fishing. I was drifting a jig. Joe was drifting flies with a indicator.
Nymphing. I was nymphing
with a bobber, and
it ain't a bobber.
Whatever. And we kind of went back and forth. We tried to see which was more effective. Part 1 of the experiment. And I don't know when you think you'll have that video ready. Week or 2? I don't know.
I'm still on the blackfish.
But anyway, so I think spin fishing came up a little bit on top, not by much, but I did.
But here's the issue. Let me explain what happened. What we were trying to do was basically have one guy catch a fish behind the other guy when he had already fished the hole hard. This only occurred one time, and the one time that it occurred, I hooked the fish and lost it, and Chris doesn't believe me.
I think you snagged the bottom.
See, but I have GoPro video that's going to show the fish lift, because I see...
Okay, if you can see the fish in the video, then that will nullify that, and it would be an even... But then there was another hole later on that you fished. You said you didn't get anything, and then I had a couple of small fish. Again, I didn't land them. They were small. They were hooked for 2 seconds maybe, but I saw them. They were fish. I don't know. All right, so we could call it even if you want, but
we won't say even. We'll say slight advantage to the spinning rod in episode 1. But wild trout water,
browns and rainbows on, no brook trout.
Not enough not enough of an advantage to change your day. I wonder, if one of us was by ourselves, would we have done better?
If I know for a fact that if I was, changing my lure, fishing, whatever, I think I could have. Yeah, I think I could have done better.
Like, do you think the fish that I caught on the flies would have eventually had hit the spinning rod anyway, and the ones that didn't hit the spinning rod would have hit the fly rod?
I mean, it's hard to say, but obviously I think that I can catch them on the spinning rod. That's why I'm using it.
All right, whatever. Moving on. And then we went deer hunting. It was windy. We stared into a lifeless abyss for 4 hours and then drove home frostbitten.
Yeah, what was the best part, though?
I don't know. There was a good part?
No, the best part as in when you check the camera for the other spot that we could have went to.
Yeah. The trail camera at the other spot that has not been baited had a monster buck walk by and another buck. So we could have had two if we went.
When we would have been there.
Yes. Yeah. Now you went trout fishing today while everyone else returned to work. You of course don't work. What did you catch today?
Well, I'll tell you, I found out that Luke didn't work either. He didn't ask me if I wanted to go fishing, but he went trout fishing too.
Luke has formed some kind of a new friendship with Max. They go out to breakfast together at Jumbo Land Diner. They don't invite anyone else to go, and that's that. I don't know.
Well, they had some little thing at Max's cabin or something. I didn't ask any questions.
I don't want to know about it.
No.
I don't want details.
What they do is their own business. But anyway,
I agree.
He actually, I saw, I don't know if he posted yet, he caught a real nice New Jersey wild rainbow. Nice and long, slender fish. Nice fish. I went...
Who did?
Luke, today.
Wasn't that a brown?
Yeah, what did I say?
You said rainbow.
Oh, I meant brown.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, what the hell he caught?
Nah,
yeah, that was a nice fish. He did catch
I caught nothing but rainbows. I went out and just caught a bunch of... I mean, I was joking around because we didn't get to go steelhead fishing in upstate New York. That's the closest I could come to steelhead fishing in New Jersey. I mean, got some nice ones. I'll throw it up there.
The one picture you sent me, they're nice fish. It looks like John grab your granny ran into some nice one. I'm guessing the high water must have knocked some club fish out of the club because I saw some real nice browns come off public land.
Oh, yeah, those fish are moving around all over the place.
Other than that, the pickerel fishing, if you're into that continues to seem to be red hot. A lot of the tugboats have pulled out of the water for the season due to the weather. There are some, though, that are still in the water. The bigger ones are still fishing. And I think some of the smaller ones are. I don't know if the Mimi came out yet, but...
No, I think Mimi's still fishing.
Yeah, Mimi might still be fishing. Hopefully, well, if the ice... Now, the ice could be coming to New Jersey this weekend. There's a chance of it, but now with the wind forecast, it doesn't look as good.
Well, I'll tell you what. Some of the smaller lakes, the more protected from the wind, they were able to mostly lock up before we're going to get wind again. So I think, I don't want to jinx it, but I think by the time this episode comes out, I should be ice fishing here.
Okay, but if there is no ice fishing available, or you don't ice fish, there are still some blackfish options.
Yeah, blackfish options. I mean, you could freeze your ass off in the trout streams, and the trout will bite. You just got to find the right stream with the right conditions. Some streams hold water longer. Some streams come down quicker. You just got to go to the right, check the gauges, and go to the best option. And there's plenty of trout out there to be caught too. There's always something to fish for in New Jersey, right? I mean,
the first
slow season.
Speaking of that, the first skillful angler fish of 2024 has been certified. It is Katie Lynn with a pickerel. First one of the year. It's already up on the board. So shout out to Katie Lynn.
Oh, they updated that already?
Yeah, she's already on there. First entry.
That's awesome. I love how they're, they stay. It used to be the people that used to run it, it'd take months sometimes before they'd update it. This guy Kyle, he keeps with it, and I don't know, it makes it more fun.
He really does. Although I did notice everyone posting like those pictures with the winning thing. Like, did those come or something? Because I won hybrid. I didn't get anything.
Well, what's weird is were they the winning ones, or were they just
They were winners. Like
qualified?
today there was a flurry of people with pictures and the winner patch. So I guess they saved those certificates for last.
So what's weird is, yeah, well, you can turn your fish in up to 30 days after you catch it. So if you catch a fish on December 31st, you have until January 30th of the next calendar year to turn it in. So
yeah, you have 30
technically,
days.
Technically, someone could still have a fish that they caught already and didn't get around to submitting it that they can take over the lead, I guess. But yeah, I was seeing a lot of guys were getting their winning fish stuff. One really stood out to me though. I don't know if you saw it. Kevin Glenn had one for the channel catfish.
Oh, yes, we know about that one. We'll be speaking to him about that fish, correct?
Is he coming on?
I don't know. Is he? This is your setup, no? Do you want to give the? Do you want to give?
I didn't invite him on. No.
Okay. I thought there was some kind of a joke going on here.
No, there's no joke. I was just saying. I saw him post that, and I don't know if you remember. He caught a big channel catfish while we were fishing the Dave Law catfish contest, and he didn't even measure it. He just threw it back, and we kind of teased him about it. Right? Yeah. You remember this?
Okay.
Are you with me? Do you remember this?
Are you about to tell me that he then stole a catfish from his daughter to replace that catfish?
Well, isn't that what happened?
If that's the story you're going with, yeah, but he has to come on here to defend himself. So send him a link and tell him to come on here.
I gotta bring him on now?
You have to. Just text him a link.
You told me he was coming on because he wanted to thank our guest.
Yeah, he is coming on. Get him on here because he's out of time. What else did I have to say? There's other stuff. I don't remember. Oh, the Skillful Angler program. Like you were saying, the number of entries doubled. So it over doubled any year since its existence, which is pretty much the biggest jump the program's ever taken. So they did add a lot of new categories and a lot of new slams and different options. I guess as more people get involved, they'll add more cool stuff. So, I mean, I don't understand still why people bash this program. Like, I don't get it, but whatever.
I'll never understand it. I mean, I had a guy.
It's just a free program. You take a picture of the fish on a tape measure and send it in.
I mean, I had a guy. Had a guy arguing with me just over and over again that it was. He called it chest beating. Like chest beating. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, who's submitting their fish so that I mean, like as in it's just something to brag about. I mean, what's the alternative? Is every time someone posts a fishing picture, is that chest beating? Every time you measure your fish and like certify how big it is, I don't get it. I don't get the argument. I mean, what's the alternative to do nothing? These arguments always come from people that don't contribute anything to the fishing community as a whole. They don't post any pictures. They don't, give any fishing reports. They don't give any feedback. I don't know. It's strange. It's just like you said. It's a free program. It's fun. It's just something else to do. We like to bust balls between like the groups of guys that like to do it. It's just a more official way to have friendly competition with.
Yeah, but I actually like looking back at the certificates though. No.
All right, that's fine. I actually didn't even open mine.
No, I didn't look at them for this year, but I'm saying I look back at the old ones and I see the dates. They're all saved in a folder. I mean, what is the problem?
No, I don't know. I mean, you collect fishing pictures, you collect lures, you collect all their stuff, so maybe someone wants to collect the patches or the
what if instead of spending $700 and killing the fish and mounting it, I just send it in a picture of it on a tape measure to the state and they give me a cool certificate for it with the date and everything? How about that?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
You're preaching to the choir.
Move right on. Kevin, it seems like Kevin's in here, but he's not. Don't know.
Can you hear us, Kevin?
I can't see you, Kevin. Your video's turned off. Yeah. Okay. Kevin, we're going to get right into it because we don't have that much time. We know you have to say hello to Soco Baits because he's your hero. But there's something that
hold on a second. When I bring this guy on, are you going to scare him away by saying something creepy like you rub his baits on yourself or something? Like, what are you going to say to him?
Well, I mean, if the baits would do half as good of a job attracting my wife as they do the fish, I'd rub them all over myself.
I mean, he might use that in his next commercial.
Kevin,
real quick.
Are you going to ask him?
Oh, real quick before we bring him on, there's allegations and photographic proof that you, in a way to kind of, I don't know, get back at us or impress us for throwing back that skillful angler catfish during the tournament, that you then took your daughter's channel catfish and submitted it under your own name to the Skillful Angler program. Is there any truth to this?
Yes, my 4-year-old brought in the 12.5-pound channel cat. She woke up from her nap with her iPad in the truck at 9 p.m. and caught that fish all on her own. Yeah.
And then you took credit for it.
Sure to get that reward rewritten to her.
And then you submitted it after that?
No, that was my fish. The picture's taken with my daughter for scale.
Now, did she touch at any time did she touch the pole? Because if it comes to a state record now, if she touched the rod at any time, the fish is disqualified. I would figure the same rules apply to the skillful angler. Did she at any time touch the fishing rod while the fish was on?
She did not. She may have helped Brennan net it.
Who's this? Is a third person involved?
Tim Ross.
Yeah, Tim Ross.
Tim Ross is the mastermind behind most of this. All right, Chris, it sounds like all your information is just not right. Or Kevin's lying.
I mean, you saw the gulp he did when I first asked him the question. Did you see that gulp that he took before he started answering?
Chris, that question could have gone anywhere before you started asking. I mean, me and allegations and Facebook, Christ, that could have gone in any direction.
Okay,
true.
So we have to get Nick Sokolowski.
Let me.
I wonder if I just butchered his name now.
Is my screen frozen?
I've always just called him Soco. All right, so we have the guest in. Our next guest is Nick Sokolowski. He's a guide from Lake Oneida, New York. We were hoping today would kind of be an ice fishing episode. Nick's been guiding on Lake Oneida for 5 years, and he's also been the creator of Soco Baits for about 8 years, which is how I found him, and I believe that's also how Kevin knows him. Here he is. Here's Nick from Soco.
What's up, Nick?
How's it going, everyone?
Nick, nice to have you on.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I'll go right into the story of how I found Nick. Maybe 10 years ago, ice fishing, when I first learned to ice fish, somebody on the ice said, "Oh, you cut the eyeball out of the perch, and that's the best bait possible." And I said, "Bullshit." And he said, "Yeah, watch." And he went in his bucket, he cut a couple eyes out of the perch, dropped them down. Boom, he had a fish on right away. That kind of became a thing, using the perch eye. Years later, ice fishing actually with Scott Tarnowski, I told him I need to catch perch so I could get some perch eyes, 2 of them. And he said, "Oh, no need. I already have a bag of them." And I said, "You got a bag of perch eyes?" He's like, "Yeah, I know a guy who makes them." I'm like, "What? Let me see them." So he hands me a bag of these rubber perch eyes. And I thought they worked better than the real ones. So since that day, it's actually the only thing I buy from you, I think. Like I just use that, but I know you make tons of other stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
And also your business model's not great because I've caught like 60 panfish on one perch eye. So like one bag of perch eye will last me 40 years.
We make a quality product.
Yeah, so you got $3 out of me for life, and I mean,
perfect.
But
I at least buy a couple a year and give them away to kids at the tournament I run.
Yeah.
Now, Kevin, how do you know
him? This is the first time I'm meeting him. I quite honestly didn't know his name until you guys told me you were having a Soco Baits guy on, and I mean that's the Soco Baits guy. That's not Nick.
No, this is Soco Baits. Yeah, but I'm saying, how do you know? When I said I'm bringing on Soco Baits, you said, "Oh, I'd like to come on that episode." I know those baits, and now here you are. How do you know them?
I've got a cousin that lives on Canada-Rego, and another two friends of his that live not all that far outside of Cooperstown. And I was up there with them one weekend, and they were using those perch eyes. And we had a bucket full of real perch, and I'm questioning them why we're not just cutting the eyes out, why we're wasting our time with these little eyes. So, I used real eyes. They used Soco eyes. After about a half hour of me just not catching the numbers of fish they were, I switched baits, not to what they were using, because I had to try something else. I couldn't admit defeat in front of three guys like that. Can't just step out of the box like that. But then after another half hour went by of me not catching as many perch as them, I switched over to the Soco Baits. Took the info right off that tag, and probably within 2 weeks had more for a pack on.
Awesome.
Now, let me ask for my own personal order. What's the number one selling color perch eye? Because I know I've done better on certain days with different one, especially the purple one seems to be my favorite.
Yeah, so when it comes to like I guess the hot one would be our golden eye. So you have one of those. I brought a couple packs on today, so people can kind of get a view of what. So this is our 1/4-inch eye, and that's the golden perch eye. So that's more of like I would say our natural, just like all of like the baits that we make. You have your pinks, your chartreuse, your glows and stuff, and then you have your naturals. So I would say a lot of guys flock when they first check the eyes out to the natural colors, and then they see like, oh, these guys have 13 other colors, and now we see a lot of guys matching colors up with their jigs that they're running.
Now, Chris is one of those guys that he doesn't believe anything until he sees it or uses it. He's never used your stuff or seen it in action.
Yes. Okay. I was going to say, I've actually never used your baits. I do think, though, I saw them, and you probably can't keep track of all the bait shops that have your...
Yeah, we got a good idea.
What happened here, Deuce?
We lost Chris.
We lost you, Chris.
Did I drop out for a second there?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Is Deuce here?
I think I'm good now. Yeah, I was saying I've actually never used those perch eyes or any of your lures, but I do think, and I don't know if you know off the top of your head which bait shops, you probably have them in a lot of bait shops. I think the local bait shop to me, the Sporting Life over here in White House Station in New Jersey, I think carries your lures.
I'm trying to think. Their name sounds familiar. And usually once everybody gets their orders in at the, like before the ice season, and now we're getting into ice, that's when the shops are like, oh, okay, like you almost lose track sometimes. But
yeah. Well, I was going to say, I didn't expect for you to remember off the top of your head, but I was going to say, I have definitely seen some kind of perch eyes. So if they're not yours, someone's trying to rip you off over there. But if they are yours, I've heard enough glowing recommendations that I'm stopping by there tomorrow to pick up a tip up that got stolen from me last year on the ice, and I'm going to grab some of those baits as well. But I did.
Is that your top seller? Is the perch eye your number one selling bait?
I would say they're pretty comparable to our hammerhead. So our hammerhead is a 1.5 inch, and that's it kind of has a rib body with it almost like a dragonfly head on it, and then it tapers down to this super sensitive tail. And that tail, we always, when we're at our show events, I'll get it on camera right here, but that thing is so light that just the pulse like of your heartbeat makes that tail want to move. So that's another bait that sells very well for us, and we usually see a lot of guys having both lines of products on the ice because there's certain times when the perch eyes are hot and they're catching them on that, and all of a sudden the school kind of goes flat, and that's like you guys know, you throw something different at them and that fires them back up, and that's where we would switch over to the hammerhead. Has more of that tail grub body, so if they're starting to switch up to like a grass shrimp presentation, that's where that's going to mimic that.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I went a little out of hand ordering my perch eyes this year and just started scrolling through all the other stuff you have, and I've got some of those too. Nice to hear that.
Yeah, so another nice thing too with the hammerheads, which guys like when they do switch up, is being it has that ribbed body. A lot of guys that like using real micro tungstens.
Yeah.
So you can break that body off clean, and now you just downsize that 1.5 inches to a 3/4 inch, or you can even get it down to a 1/2 inch right to the stub here. So guys like the hammerheads because it's so versatile when it comes to size. And we've had days where they're on the bite really hot in the morning. That sun starts coming up, and we got to start downsizing, and that's where we'll start cutting our baits down.
And you know, I love the baits like that with the real tiny, long little finesse tail, like a mousy. And the last couple of years, I don't know if it's the same for you guys up there, because I know that's where we order them from when we can get them. It's becoming harder and harder to get the mousies. They want an arm and a leg to send them down here. And that's my favorite, little bug to put on those jigs. So I really like the baits that do what yours does and kind of have that little thin little tail that comes out and just barely jiggles down there.
Yeah, and if you look at, I'll try to get it close up to the camera, but so right where the ribs stop, you have about 3/16 of like a smooth body. So if you cut that off to the rib body, it is like identical to a mousy. Same size as a mousy for the thickness and the length. So that's where this bait really shines. Is it's a 3-in-1 where you can have a shorter hammerhead like grub body right down to a mousy, or just keeping it straightforward at the 1.5 inch. If those fish are really wanting the bigger perch, if there's like grass perch in the area, kind of mimic those color patterns with like a watermelon red flake and stuff like that.
No, that's cool, because I don't know, the other bugs you get never really do it for me. I don't know, like the spikes and the maggots and stuff. They don't have that same that little tail just like undulating in the water. I mean, I don't know. For me, you can't beat it, and those types of lures really they really do the same type of thing. Now, real quick, Kevin, are you staying the whole episode, or because I did see your?
Is Kevin done saying hi?
I can.
Well, I've got that
Garmin thing I just built sitting right next to me.
What do you have?
What's he got?
Got my Garmin caddy sitting right here. If you guys want to go over that.
No, not really. I just wanted to say I saw your daughter come on. She looked like she wanted to tell us about how Daddy stole her skillful angler catfish, and you shooed her away really quick.
I mean, we can get her side of the story. She's not in bed yet.
I just put my daughter down.
All right, now we need better Wi-Fi connection. He's got to get off.
All right, Kevin.
Real quick, you sell those hats on the website?
Yes, but I believe we are sold out. But we are having shirts, hats, and hoodies ordering up this next week. So
Get a couple
the
hats
website will be stocked up.
These two won't make me a hat, and I need something for this terrible hairline.
We'll get you one, Kevin. Don't worry.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank you, Kevin.
Take care.
See ya.
All right. So we have a ice fishing trip booked for Lake Oneida at the end of February. How's the outlook look for that trip? Was canceled last year. What's the outlook look like this year for ice fishing up there?
So we're now getting into the glaze over right now on the western basin of Oneida. I don't think we're coming out of freezing here for the next 5 or 6 days. So this next week, we're going to start seeing some really good ice building, getting our main base started. And we don't have any snowfall coming in, which is a huge help because the past 2 years, it's like we get a 6-inch base and then 8 to 12 inches of snow, and it sinks that ice, gets flooded out, and we're back to square one. So this year, seeing we're going to have a good base starting and the outlook's looking really good. I think we'll be really good going into the early part of March this season. Fingers crossed.
Nice.
You know what's crazy? I mean, I don't know if you do any fishing down in Jersey, but we've been having some real issues with the ice season down here last couple of years. I think 2023 there was no ice, but
there was one weekend.
That was between Christmas and New Year's of 2022.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Yeah. So it's been over a year, like we didn't get any ice after that. We had 1 week, and you could only fish the shallow places.
Yeah.
Like, not ponds, but it had to be a smaller lake, had to be protected from the wind. We just weren't getting the right combination of cold and low wind, and it was and we only had.
And that was like Oneida last season. I mean, I probably made it out on Oneida a handful of times, just because, you go out and you spud 5 inches in one spot, you go 100 feet and you're sitting on 2.5 inches. So trying to work with that, especially having clients on the ice. I can't run trips on the ice. That's just my minimum. We got to have 6.5, 7-inch base of good ice throughout the whole western basin for me to take clients out on.
Yeah, I mean, Lake Oneida is a whole different monster compared to anything we have here. I can remember we tried to get up there for the past couple of years. We tried to get up there for a weekend with a group of guys. It's a great time. Like Joe said, last year we didn't get to go. But even when you have good ice up there, you still have to take all the safety precautions just for yourself. I can't imagine bringing out clients that are counting on you. That's a whole different ball game even.
Yeah. So the thing I do is, and that's why I run my trips on the west end here. So I live on the south shore of Oneida. So my clients, they park right at my house, and we head out onto the lake. But so I have like a perimeter set. So prior to clients showing up, I'm out there checking ice conditions and kind of marking holes on like an outskirt, for instance. So I know like, all right, this is like our max, like, because I'll have guys walking around on the ice. Like when we have our shanty set up, it's a nice day. Guys want to hole hop and stuff. I still stick with a solid perimeter so they know not to go past like those areas because I just don't know the ice conditions past those spots.
What is it specifically about Lake Oneida that makes the ice so unpredictable?
Well, we have a decent amount of current pull in the lake because we have the Codnoy dams. Typically in wintertime, all the locks are wide open, so they're pulling current out of the lake. And another thing Oneida is known for is the gas pockets. So you'll be on 12 inches of ice, and you'll be walking, and all of a sudden you see this little like almost looks like a gray spot in the ice, and you go up and you hit it with your spud bar, and it's only a half inch of ice, and you're standing on a 12-inch base.
And if it snows and you get like the drift snow, it look like everything will look the same, and you'll see like maybe this little bump in the snow almost.
Yep.
It's like a trap door, like like
absolutely.
the spiders use to like. You ever seen the
Yeah.
trap door spider? And you, dude, if you walk on it, you just go right through. There's just a hole there.
Yeah, and then that's where Oneida is known for, like with machines and stuff, especially around the island. So if anybody is planning a trip to Oneida this winter, you have Frenchman's and Dunham's. Those are the two big islands right off the west end here. They're about 2.5 miles from the west end. Those are the islands around that you have to watch yourself. So when you're out on the main lake and you see the two islands, when you get close to those islands, you always have to be mindful of the gas pockets, because that is I would say, out of the years that I've ice fished, those are the number one ice spots that are going to have gas pockets are around Frenchman's and Dunham's Island. So just always have that in the back of your head when you're out there with your machine driving across the lake.
I've never ridden a machine on the lake, and I'll go on all kinds of ice. I'll check it myself. You know, me and my buddy will check it with the safety equipment, and I'll check a spot to fit. I don't know if I'd be comfortable blindly riding across the lake like on a machine. I don't know. That seems.
Yeah, there's sometimes you're pinning it and not stopping until you hit your destination. But yeah, we definitely get a good ice report across the lake to where we know we can get machines past the islands or another access. So you get a lot of reports coming on some of our local pages. So if guys are coming in the area, I suggest going on to Oneida Lake Diehards. Most of the time, guys are going to be putting up honest reports, especially where the gas pockets are, because we're always letting people know on the ice, hey, mark the pin here. There's a hot spot.
Yeah.
Stay away from this zone right now. And they come and go. They'll freeze up, and then another one will pop up down the lake or around the island somewhere else.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's like they're just like springs, like hot springs.
Yeah, pretty much. And I have a video I want to get up online where I put my camera and just watching this spot on the ice, and you see just little micro bubbles just popping once it hits the surface. And mind you, this is 0 degrees, 1 degree out, like, and you're still seeing active water, not even capped over and bubbling. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, you can notice them when you have like you get that first little layer of snow. That's where you can really see them. It's when it's black ice, no snow on the ice. That's where they blend in. But what you want to look for is you'll see that clear ice going, and then all of a sudden you'll see a ring of like kind of grayish white ice. It's an off color to like just clear black ice. And you'll spot it real quick and notice that just imperfection on the ice there. And any imperfections you see on the ice, you should just always stay on the color you're riding on, basically.
Yeah. But we don't have anything quite like that, but we do have places with like springs and stuff. And you know, we kind of tell anyone that talks to me about ice fishing that's new to it, I say you need at the very least you need all the safety equipment, you know, the rope,
absolutely,
buddy behind you, spud bar, and just spud as you're walking. It's not that hard to do, and watch the ice, see what's going on, drill a hole every once in a while, check the thickness, or, you know, do what you got to do. If you do it right, it's not as dangerous of an activity that some people will, you know, try to claim it is. But
that's what I always tell people. I always have a buddy system, especially early ice. Always having a buddy system. Having, like you said, a rope. I bring out on my sled a throwable. So I'll have like a boat throwable. Something that has some weight that you can get it, whip it across, and over to them. And like you said, spud your way out. Some guys will spud a couple hits and then they'll just start walking. And
when you don't have ice on Lake Oneida, but maybe you have ice on smaller lakes in the area, will you move your operation to a different body of water? Or do you only stay on Oneida?
I only stay on Oneida. It's just kind of it's the lake I'm I would say comfortable when it comes to targeting the fish out here. I'm not saying I don't have confidence in going to another body of water and taking guys out, but the past couple of seasons since I started doing ice trips, I've mainly stayed right to Oneida. I do have guys ask me to go up to Chameau Bay, those bigger bays off of Lake Ontario, and that might be in the near future. But for now, I stay real busy on Oneida, and when we don't have ice, I'm usually getting stuff ready for the open water season. Or if we don't have ice, the boat's getting dropped in Oneida.
Now, when you do have ice, how many people will you take on a trip?
So we've done. So I have a couple other guides that help me out. We'll do corporate outings. It seems like the new norm, instead of doing an office party for the holidays, they're booking an ice trip. So They're all kind of going out and doing something new. And so yeah, it's been cool to have these like kind of corporate parties out on the ice. We entertain. We get the we'll have like pizza, wings, drinks, hot beverages out on the ice for them. So they're kind of having their office party and shanties and catching fish.
Joe, that's better than any office party you've ever had.
Sure is.
Guaranteed.
But my typical trips, I do 2 to 4 anglers on a typical outing. And I get some single anglers that want to come out and learn the lake to come out with their friends down the road. And that's one thing I always do is when I have guys book me that are trying to learn information, I never hide anything from them. It's if they're learning the body of water and they're paying me to take them out to learn it, that's awesome. I never hide my secrets to guys that are looking just for info.
Well, that's kind of.
Can you text message me which color is the best jigging wrap and size? But for my trip. So
I'll send you all the local knowledge. Don't worry.
Okay. You'll save me.
Aren't we going out fishing together anyway? So you're going to see all the gear.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I mean, I guess we're going to be hooking up here in February. We're going to be getting. I think we said we're going to try to do a podcast out on the ice.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm game friend. Look, I don't say no to fishing. That's for sure.
Right.
I mean,
now
it looks like we're gonna get some starting ice this week.
Yeah.
With you guys, but then it looks like the wind's gonna kind of keep the bigger places open, so we're not gonna have a lot of options. So I think at least myself, I'm gonna be heading up. I got a buddy living up there near Watertown, and I'm gonna be making some trips up there to fish. And if you've got open days and stuff, we'll definitely hook up and do some fishing.
Normally when I'm off the water, not chartering, I'm out finding new fish or just going out for a good morning bite or an evening bite.
Nick, I want to touch on this because I know I've seen so many pictures of the drums. The people holding the picture. They're in pictures with these giant drums on this lake. I don't think we have that anywhere in Jersey, Chris, right?
Freshwater drum now.
Now you guys do. Do you ever have like a client targeting them?
I have yet to have a guy specifically wanting to target the drum. I know we see enough.
They must fight like hell, huh?
Oh yeah, they're a good fight. And it's awesome, especially when I have like kids out on the boat and one of them lays into a 15 or a 17 pound drum and they're fighting it for could be 15-20 minutes on light tackle. So
what are those fish doing in there?
They're just they feed on the same thing. I mean, they'll attack a blade bait. I mean,
but I'm saying, do they belong in that lake? Like, how did they get there?
I think everything else. I don't know if they're really native or not. I'm not too positive on the drum if they're native to Oneida.
Did you ever catch one through the ice?
I have yet to catch one through the ice. I mark them on my live scope. I see them all the time, and that's what a lot of guys they think when they're on the walleye grounds. They're marking. Oh, we're marking so many walleyes down there, and you look at them on the live scope, you see a big arch back coming through on bottom. Like, that's a big drum.
But they won't hit. They won't hit anything.
I'm sure they would. But I have yet in the winter time to actually get one to commit to like a jig and wrap or blade bait.
That's cool though.
But the open water season, we'll get them. I mean, we catch quite a few of them in the open water season. I mean, and that's like, and you feel them actually bite. You'll do a snap jig, it'll drop, you let it sit there, and thud. You feel a thud, and right when you set the hook, you already know it's not a walleye out of Oneida. It's hooking into a log.
I guess there's probably I don't know, no one cares enough to figure out how to target them, or maybe it's not really worth the time, I guess.
Yeah, they're considered more of a trash fish on Oneida. And I mean, I have clients that take the smaller ones home and flay them, and honestly, I've had the smaller size drum, and all my buddies are like, "Oh, you're nasty." But when I fillet out a drum, it almost has the same meat texture and look as a striper fillet. That's like the closest fillet I can compare it to. If you put a schoolie striped bass on the table and a drum, they're gonna have the same bloodline and the same layout of the meat.
Yeah, I mean, people eat red drum. I mean, I don't know.
Right. I mean, saltwater drum. I mean, they're the same species, just fresh water. And like I said, I've had the smaller sizes, like the 17, 18s, and honestly, they taste like a clean whitefish. The bigger ones, that's where I haven't tried, just because they're, I mean, ginormous, and I just don't feel like dealing with that size fish.
Yeah, I mean, bigger fish usually don't taste that anyway, but
right, like everything else.
And before we get like into like the walleye and perch for a little bit here, while we're on the topic of like the weird fish in there, what about the burbot? Do you ever catch those through the ice?
It's
burbot. We have a small
burbot
population. Yeah, the burbot. We have a small population out here. And
do you have any burpits in there?
Burpits. Guys catch them in the wintertime. I had a client of mine that he was doing the New York Slam, and that was basically he's catching every species New York has to offer, and that was one fish that he still has to claim. And we've been now, this is going into the second year. Fingers crossed we can get out to the deeper grounds with him, but last year we had to cancel his 3-day outing to go after a burbot, and they're tough. They're a bycatch in Oneida now. When guys catch them, they're not trying to catch them. They're out jigging 30 plus foot of water for the walleyes, and all of a sudden, boom, they get a hit, they get it up, and it's a burbot. So my client, he knows that there's a high chance that we could zero for 3 days of solid fishing for this fish.
You really want it.
And I told him that. I said, honestly, it's probably the hardest fish to catch in Oneida, and it's like we got a 5% chance of seeing one and hooking one. But he's
there's just not enough of them in there, I guess.
Yeah, there's not enough to actually target them. But like I said, throughout the ice season, you'll see guys catching them, and they're there. It's just you don't see a big number of them anymore.
We got to book a drum trip with him, Chris. We'd be the first two ever to book a drum trip.
No, my buddy Fonz caught a small burbot while we were up there walleye and perch fishing. That's why we were curious. We actually started targeting them, but we figured it was kind of a shot.
And just so everyone understands, if you don't know Lake Oneida, it's within 4.5 hours from here. Unless you live where Adam Mahara lives, then it's probably 6 hours. But it's a lake that's basically it's so infested with walleye that the game laws are designed now to eradicate them, right? I mean, Nick, it's designed to now eradicate the lake. They want it cleaned out.
Not eradicate them. I don't think they want to get rid of them.
They want to definitely slim down on some numbers. So because
5 fish at 15 inches is eradication to walleye to me, but
no, it's culling. It's culling the small.
Culling the schools. Because the amount we stock, I don't know the stocking numbers from this past season, but we put a lot of fingerling walleyes in the lake, and they take off real well. But the amount of those 15 to 17, 18 inches, we have a huge population of those. And it shows. I mean, especially in the open water season, we boated a lot of walleyes this year. Not all keepers. I mean, there's still a good handful of like those 14 to 14 and 7/8, but those are the stocks that they're keeping track of, because when they become mature, then now you're going to be infested with legal size walleyes, basically. So
Yeah.
Did they ever consider like a slot size so that you can't keep the really big ones, but
yeah, it's people bring it up every year. Every year when the stocking program starts up, they bring up the limit should be 3 fish, 1 20+ inch, the rest whatever, under 20, or guys always put their theories out there or what they want to see done, and it ends up kind of falling into it's a put and take lake. I guess in the grand scheme of things, I mean, we're stocking a lot of walleyes at a young age, but the sheer stock of different age class of fish in this lake, we're constantly putting more in, taking more out, putting more in, taking more out.
But now the lake also, that specific lake, it produces gigantic yellow perch.
Yes. Yeah, we got some big yellows.
Walleye.
Yeah, I have some photos that I have a 15-inch walleye next to a 14-inch perch, and the perch still dwarfs over that walleye. I mean, they are submarines up here. Yeah, we get them, and we throw back some big ones throughout the season. We like seeing those big yellows go back. I mean, when it comes to my chartering, I can't tell a client to put a fish back if he doesn't want to. So I kind of leave it up to him. But if I'm out scouting and stuff and I catch a really big size yellow perch, I'm going to throw it back just because I like seeing those big breeders in the lake, and it's cool to catch those giants.
Yeah, I try to tell guys around here too, like you're pan fishing, you're catching crappie, perch, whatever. You don't need the 15, 16-inch crappie.
No.
You've got a whole bucket of 11, 12-inch crappie. Those other ones are worth more in the water, even if you like to eat fish and you don't,
Right.
They're just worth more in the water. There's no other way to put it. I mean, guys can do what they want within the regulations, but so
absolutely.
I wanted to jump off the wall. Yeah, you said you have or you haven't ever ice fished in New Jersey?
I have not. Yeah, I haven't ice fished. I know Scott's invited me out a couple times when he lived out there, and just couldn't find the time to get it.
I mean, it's a moot point now. We got to come up there to ice fish every year.
Yeah, now you got to come up here and fish Oneida.
Yeah, we're coming for sure. Probably a lot of trips in February. So this may not make much sense to you, but anyone who ice fishes in New Jersey will understand this. And I just want to talk about it. So the walleye fishing through the ice in New Jersey is the strangest thing you ever. Open water, catch walleye, if you know what you're doing, you figure it out, Once the water freezes over, so on Lake Oneida, you're out there, you're catching all these walleye. If you know what same thing, you know what you're doing, but no matter what we try in New Jersey to ice fish for walleye, unless if the river pools freeze, which hasn't happened in a while, and even when it does, you got to be careful. Right. Then you can catch walleye through the ice. At night, if you can figure out what you're doing in a couple of spots, you can catch them. During the day, walleye fishing through the ice in New Jersey, it's like the most difficult thing in the world.
Yeah, and you're the complete opposite from Oneida.
Exactly.
Once that light goes away, it's done.
So it's really weird to me. So here we're looking. It
doesn't make sense. I mean, we're not that far away from each other.
Right, we're not that far away. I mean, what's your main forage in there? I guess the forage is definitely different.
Yeah, so our main forage would be the grass perch. We have the shad, and then you got like buckeyes, fathead minnows. But I would say the main forage would be the grass perch. I mean,
and you don't have any alewife, herring.
No, not in Oneida.
That's our main forage, and then you got like emerald shiners, golden shiners, and stuff like that.
Yeah. In the
So
Finger Lakes, we have those, but not in Oneida.
Have you ever walleye fished a lake through the ice that has alewife and as the main forage or shiners?
I mean, you like up on Chameau Bay on Lake Ontario, you have them, but I don't know if they're necessarily feeding on the alewives in that time frame. I believe the bait fish are far offshore at that point in time, because then in the springtime they all move into shore to spawn. In early May we get the bait fish coming up on the shores of Ontario and doing their whole spawning deal in the tributaries and whatnot. So I don't know if that's necessarily their main forage when we're fishing Chameau, and those big walleyes up there, I think they're predominantly feeding on perch as well.
He says it's so fancy. Chameau. I call that Chaumont.
Chaumont.
Chameau. I call it Chaumont Bay.
I think I do too. I don't, but I know I'm not saying it right. I just don't care.
I've always called it Chaumont Bay. He's saying Chameau.
I'm probably saying it wrong too. I don't know. I think we're all wrong.
Oh, you're not sure either?
Now
you said it with such confidence.
I know that Nick has plans to somehow we're going to give everyone a chance to win some Soco Baits. And
yes.
2 separate winners. Chris, do we know how we're doing it yet?
You're giving 2 separate pack
yeah, we're gonna do 10 packs, 10 packs of soft plastics per giveaway, and we're also gonna throw in a bottle of our shad scent. So it's our shad blend. That's to kind of recharge your bait up on the ice or in the water when you're out on the boat.
Okay. Is my wife allowed to enter?
You don't worry, Joe. I'll make sure you're taken care of up here.
I don't let Joe enter any of the content.
You're going to be entering the shop of Soco. Yeah, I'm sure a couple baits are going to go missing.
I'm going to send it to my house. I'll screen it before it goes.
I said, Joe, there's supposed to be 10 on each. Why are there 5 in each?
Yeah.
We're going to do one on Facebook and Instagram, and then we're going to do another one on YouTube and TikTok. So, right, that's how we're going to do it too. So we'll cover all.
Spread it out. Spread the love.
Spread it out. All right. So within the next week or two, we'll have that set up. You'll have a chance to win Nick's bait. Nick, before everyone leaves, do you want to plug your actual guide business now? How does somebody book a trip with you and contact you?
So I run Soco Outdoor Sport Fishing. My direct contact is 315-663-5644. My email address is socooutdoorsportfishing@gmail.com, and also have my website, socooutdoorsportfishing.com.
And now your social media, like, you have a Facebook page, Soco Baits, which I follow, but now that's not where I would go to book a guided trip, correct? That's just
you would go to Soco Outdoor Sport Fishing. So
okay,
I got the 2 separate pages.
Okay, so everyone hear that. 2 separate pages. One is for the guide service, one's for the bait.
Yep.
Nick, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on here and talk to us. And if we're able to hook up in February and fish, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
I got a lot more freedom to fish than Joe, so I'm 100% in. We're fishing.
Yeah, guys didn't notice behind me. This is a new product that we got out this season for the guys in the for measuring their fish. So we got aluminum bump boards. Try to get it in the light there. This is a 48-inch.
Is that custom made for Chuck Manny? Why is it 7 feet? Why is it 7 feet long?
So we got so we first started off with the we got our 32-inch and 24-inch walleye boards. So these are for guys mostly for the ice fishing. These are aluminum boards, and then we ended up having a lot of guys that are big muskie fishermen or targeting the northern pike. So that was one thing we had to come out with this season was a 48-inch board for the big game fish guys.
Oh, that board's only 48 inches? It's too small for Chuck Manny.
looks bigger than it is in the video. But
let me ask you.
Yeah, it literally looks like it's 8 feet long on the video.
I'm sure. Yeah, but we got a 24-inch, a 32, and a 48. So that's if you guys are looking for a board to measure fish, these are made right
Chris,
here in
we
New
need
York.
the 48.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I want to ask
big...
you. It's hard to tell on the camera. Are the numbers like nice and clear on, like thick and clear on there? Like if I put the fish and took a picture, you could see the numbers, right?
Yeah. So you're gonna bump obviously the fish on the nose, and then if I can get this.
You got like a glare from the light on there.
Oh yeah.
That's the only reason it's hard to see with the camera.
There, they're there.
So you
they're
have the 1/4-inch dash marks.
1/4-inch.
Yep. So it's all the way down. The 24-inch starts at 10-inch mark. Same with I believe all the boards start at the 10-inch except the 48. 48 starts at the 12-inch.
The 24-inch, that's a skillful angler walleye board, right? Because if it's bigger than that board, it's a skillful angler. No?
You're talking about the 32-inch board?
He has
no
the
idea
24.
What
you're talking about because they don't have. Well, do you guys?
I'm talking to you.
You're talking
I'm
to
saying
me.
That if you're a walleye fisherman, the 24-inch board's the perfect board for Jersey.
But you're not going to be able to confirm the size. You're just going to know that it's bigger than that size.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, we need so everyone needs the 48-inch one. He's right.
Yeah, a lot of guys like up north. I see like the guys on Oneida, a 32-inch board you're going to be fine with. Especially guys that are like in the boats all summer long. 32-inch would be good. But the guys up north, why we came out with a 48. Because you have the king salmon, the lake trout, and then in the wintertime, they do big derby up north, the New York Winter Classic. And those guys, they're catching 32 to 33, 34-inch walleyes up there. So that's where they're going to want a bigger board. And they're not specifically just targeting walleyes up on Lake Ontario because you'll be walleye fishing and all of a sudden you hook into a giant lake trout. And you got to have a board to do your measurement and photo for entering that fish into the derby. So that's why we came out with a 48-inch for
and lately boards have been a pain in the ass to find.
Yeah. You know, and that was our main mission was to keep them keep all of our manufacturing right here in the U.S. and all of our manufacturing is done right here in New York. So that's one thing we pride our business on.
We had a tournament recently in the past summer, and getting bunk board supplies were a problem. We couldn't get it, and you had to have one.
Right. And that was where we kind of came up, like that's where we kind of dove into going into not just the plastics, but starting to get into outdoor products because we saw the demand for bump boards, and especially when COVID hit the country and shut all the markets down, nobody was getting anything in from overseas, and I took it upon myself. We found a local manufacturer that was willing to work with us to get these boards done, and it was awesome. It was a quick turnaround time, and now it's not hard to keep these in stock because I don't ever have to worry about a company overseas getting them over here.
That's awesome.
And you know what? Like, Joe's right. For some reason, I guess I don't know if it started happening before the COVID stuff
because of the chain supply. It was all Amazon shit.
Boards just like disappeared. We couldn't, you couldn't get them.
And these are solid aluminum boards. They're powder coated and then screen printed. So they're a great quality board. We'll always be there if anything was to happen to your board. If you have a defected board that shows up where powder coat's coming off, or for some reason the printing is gone, we take care of our customers and make right on that if anything.
So he basically figured out his soft plastics last too long, and he's trying to now move into this business to make some money.
You got it.
I understand. Nick, I thank you so much, man, for coming on and taking the time. We really appreciate it. Hopefully, awesome. Wish you a good ice, safe ice, and a great season. Hopefully we get to see you up there. Yeah. Chris sometimes says goodbye, sometimes he doesn't. I don't know what.
100%. Like I said, I'm coming up. Joe sometimes just stays home and cries and complains.
Well, Joe's got to come up this time. And like I said, we're going to do a podcast on the ice. I'll run the extension cords from my place out there.
Sure, I'm in.
Catching fish while we're doing it.
I'm in 100%. That sounds awesome.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for having me. And this was great.
Thank you so much,
right,
man.
Take care.
All right. Take care of you guys.
Later.
All right, so we definitely do have to 100% go fishing with him. And
I'm going.
I'm really being honest, too, with the perch eyes. I think Scott Tarnowski counted the one day we specifically went bluegill ice fishing on a private lake, and he caught, I think, 54 bluegills before the one perch eye finally fell off. So, yeah, they do have ridiculous. And the actual, you couldn't see it great in the picture, but the outside is like it's a complete rubber ball, but then inside of it's like a holographic eye. It almost looks more realistic than a perch eye itself.
Well, and I was going to say, like, look, I've never used these, like I said, and we have one major rule that we follow. Like, we don't promote things. We don't even let people promote things that we have no idea what it is. I have to at least know someone that I trust that's used something before I let someone come on here do it. So you've used it. I trust you. Kevin's used it. I trust him. I've never used it. I didn't have anything to say about the actual baits.
Have you ever used a perch eye?
Well, I'm getting to that. So what I'm going to say is, yes, I've used the perch eye. Most of the time, unless you get it out perfectly, you end up popping it, crushing it, squishing it. So I hear what you're saying. It looks more realistic. The bait looks more realistic than the actual eye but unless you get it out perfectly, you've crushed it, squished it, popped the hole in it, whatever. And
yeah, these don't pop because they're solid. And also, at the time, I didn't know he just said he's going to send a thing of his scent out with the two winners. I didn't know he made scent because I have the hammerheads, I have the perch eyes.
And they come with the scent in them. I forgot to ask.
No, they don't.
In the package, there's nothing in there with them.
No, everything I've ever ordered, it just comes unscented. But I didn't know he made scent. I should have asked him about that, but I guess now he makes scent to add to his stuff. I never even have added anything to it. I just put it on. Those hammerheads are great. The hammerheads, they have like a microscopic tail, like a
yeah. No, I
good stuff.
I have some other stuff that I have different kinds. I'll try this one time. I'll try another one another time, and like they work or whatever. But I've never settled into one specific one. Like, oh, this is the best one. So I'm definitely going to try those too. And the perch eye is 100%. I'm 90% sure that the Sporting Life carries those eyes because I think I've seen them. I'm telling you, if it's not his, then someone's trying to rip them off. So I'm going to go find out either way.
I like purple, but he said that golden one's his -- seller. So if they have those, get me those.
Yeah, no, I'm not buying. You go there yourself and buy. I got to buy your stuff now too.
That's far as hell from here.
All right, fine. You don't have none of the places by you've ever seen it?
No, there are no places by me.
I'm going to swing by there and check it out. Because like I said, I got to get, I don't know if did I tell you? You know those tip-ups that cover the hole?
Yeah, the orange ones?
Yeah.
So they keep it insulated.
Yeah. So I like to have both because if it's below freezing, I like to use those because you don't have to worry about chipping the ice away when you get back to the hole to check for a fish or whatever. I'm using one of those up in upstate New York, fishing with Nick last year. And we're fishing, there's another group there fishing like past us. Like we didn't go as far as them and they left way before us. And I didn't think anything of it. When we went to leave, that tip up was just gone and it was directly on their path out. They just grabbed it and left with it. So I'm short one tip up anyway. I'm going to swing by the Sporting Life.
You didn't have your name and address on the flag?
Oh yeah, it's on there.
And they just took it anyway.
Oh yeah, it was done on purpose, no doubt. It wasn't anywhere near their stuff.
I just also want to say real quick while I remember, podcasts like this are made possible by people and supporters like njfishing.com. If you like this podcast and enjoy what we do, you should go over to njfishing.com and register. It is free. You just simply click become a member and email Jerry what you want your password and username to be, and you're in. And as soon as he emails you back, you sign in, and that gives you access to the forum, saltwater and freshwater, and the archive where you could look back on everything. So
there's some other stuff in there too. There's buy and sell. There's buy and sell. There's
it's an endless wormhole of fishing in New Jersey. So if you like our podcast and like what we do, you really should go to njfishing.com, because that makes this kind of shit possible. So do that. What were you saying?
I don't know. Oh, I was just saying I'm going to swing by the Sporting Life.
Oh
Grab
yeah.
That was stolen.
I have. Like I said, I bought a bag of. I think there's 10 perch eyes in a bag. I bought one bag like 3 years ago. I have 7 left. Like I still have.
Talking to Nick, he sounds awesome. He stands behind his products. That's all I need to know to try something. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to buy a pack of natural color. I'm going to buy a pack of something bright like chartreuse, and I'm going to give it a try myself, and that's it.
Okay. All right, fine with me.
I don't need yours. I don't need yours.
All right, whatever. Who's the guest next week?
Next week, we've got Eddie from Toggy Time. Well, let me just double check that real quick.
Oh, Tog Vision.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we wanted to get him on earlier in the season, obviously. It didn't happen with his schedule, our schedule, whatever. Can't I pull up the calendar now?
I love Toggy Time. I got to talk to him about making other stuff.
I'm not 100% sure he makes anything else currently.
He makes the best tog jigs I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you. I mean, that I've used. You used them last time.
They're unbelievable.
No, they have. Why can't I pull up the calendar? Yeah, I just wanted to confirm just before I pull a Joe and just say something completely wrong. We've got Eddie from Toggy Time Jigs coming on.
All right, so I'll try to squeeze him for a giveaway too when he comes on.
Oh, he donated probably $100 worth of jigs to the Christmas party. We gave out 3 batches of them,
and you won all of them.
I didn't win anything. Katie won 2 of them, and then I stole them from her. No, but dude, I'll give them to anyone who wants them. If anyone comes fishing with me, they can use my shit. You use it. Alex used it.
Okay, whatever. All right, so we'll be back next week with Toggy Time Jigs and some other news. If everyone does get out to ice fish this weekend, try to be careful. New York already pulled the body out.
Jesus.
2 guys went in, and only 1 came out already yesterday in New York. So
let me
just
real quick before we end the episode. Can I just real quick because we'll talk about ice fishing next episode.
Well, it
before
like
or after.
Everyone watching this episode might be ice fishing in 2 days, possibly.
By the time this episode comes out, I plan on being on the ice for the first time that day, Thursday. Okay. But let me just go through, just real quick. I'm not joking.
I want to state, listen, I want to also state for the fact, in New Jersey, it's against the game law to be on ice below 4 inches. You could be kicked off the ice by a game warden.
Where did you see that?
If a game warden pulls up to a lake and the ice is not 4 inches, everyone on the lake's getting kicked off. And I've seen
4 inches where? It's going to be 4 inches here. It's going to be 3 inches there. It's going to be nothing over there. What are you talking about?
Where
is this rule?
I have been on lakes. I've been specifically on Green Turtle Pond and Monksville when a game warden's come up and thrown everyone off the lake because the ice is not 4 inches.
I don't think that's a law. You're going to have to pull that up for me. I've never heard of that before. Now, if
right,
if
let everyone.
if a municipality decides that they don't want you on there for whatever reason, I
This
mean,
was this was a New Jersey DEC officer. This was no.
well, they might call them. Dude, I've never heard this before in my life.
I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to be out there unless it's 4 inches. They will remove you.
I don't think that's true, but anyway,
Who cares?
I just want to go over this real quick.
Because I know Thursday you're going on 2 inches.
No, I'm not going on 2 inches. What are you, crazy? Listen to me. The only time, first of all, I'm too heavy to fish 2 inches of ice now. I need at least 2.5. All right. Even if I was going to fish.
Do you ever diet for ice season so you could slim down to thinner ice?
Oh, yeah, I try. But listen.
So you just don't eat for February.
I try not to eat as much. But like there's no set in stone rule. Like people like to say, oh, 4 inches of ice is safe and less than that is not safe and this, that. Even that's not a rule of thumb. If you walk out on the ice, drill a hole and it's 4 inches thick, it doesn't mean you're safe. It doesn't mean you can go wherever you want on the lake and fish it. All right. So here's how we do it, right? And if you want to ice fish and you've never done it before, you're not going out there by yourself. You've got to go with someone who's experienced in checking the quality of the ice. Okay. So just as an example, so we know which lakes freeze first, typically. All right. It's going to be the shallower lakes. It's going to be the lakes that are protected from the wind. So we'll check these lakes first once we have the weather for it. Yeah, your spot. I mean, if you want to do it the safest way possible, I mean, you could they've got floating bibs, floating jackets now, ice fishing jackets. You could throw on a life vest if you're really not sure how the ice is while you're checking it. You need a rope. You need a second guy who's not coming out with you till you check it, who's manning the rope. All right, you got ice picks around your neck so you can pull yourself out and you're not slipping in the ice, falling back in the hole that you made. All right, and you're going out and you're spudding. All right, you got your spud bar. You're walking your way out and you're striking the ice and checking the quality and thickness of it. All right, so I'll walk out a little bit on these spots that I know, spudding, get out. I'll drill a hole. I'll actually measure the ice. All right, we got 4 inches here. All right. My buddy's following my path once he starts coming out. We're not just going out. We'll check a whole area that we want to fish and make sure the ice is no thinner than what we want it to be. And then we'll fish. Like you can't go out, spud into the shallows a couple of feet, drill a hole, say, oh, it's 4 inches, we're good. And then just start going. And you also can't, because you see someone out there, just assume that you can go out and fish. Because you don't necessarily know which path they took. You don't know how well they are at checking this, how good they are at checking the safety. I mean, you got to do it yourself. You got to check it yourself. You got to check the whole area when the ice is formed. Once you've got 6, 7, 8, 9 inches, if we ever get to that point again, then you don't have to be as cautious, obviously. But even then, you could have a little current somewhere or a spot that the wind kept open for a couple of days extra before it froze over. I mean, it could be 5, 6 inches thinner. It could be skim ice. You just don't know.
Just everyone, please be careful, and because we'll probably be out somewhere too. But be careful and don't be stupid. It happens every year.
If you take the precaution, people like to say ice fishing is dangerous. It's not. It's no more dangerous than anything else. No,
I have heard. Listen, I don't know how true it is. I've heard stories of like perfectly healthy, normal people going through the ice and they just hit the cold water and it stops their heart. I don't know how true that is or how often that happens, but I mean, I've heard of that happening and being a concern. I don't want that shit. I'm not worried about, like, I'll get out of the hole, no problem. I'm pretty sure, like, I could get right out of any hole. But if my heart stops, I'm not getting out of the hole.
I have a video of you stuck in the mud that says otherwise.
Well, I didn't say I can get out of mud. I said I can get out of the ice hole. Mud, I'm not good with.
I mean, I think what happens a lot of times is people will hit the cold water and you get this uncontrollable reflex to gasp. And if your head is under the water when you gasp, guess what? You just drowned. You know what I mean? So I'd say this, that just to add to the safety precautions and rules and stuff, if you're not confident that you could pull yourself out of the ice if it cracks and you're to go through it, you know, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't be out there, or at least wait until much, much thicker ice and someone else checks it thoroughly for you.
Okay, so good. Yeah, be careful. We will be back next week with news and more Toggy time talk.
Yeah, we'll talk some ice fishing after we've been out there and stuff.
Yeah, ice fishing, hopefully.
I'm going to be 100%.
Okay, see everyone next week.
Later.